So the IBC dictates whether or not a building will need a fire alarm system. Let's take 2 minutes to learn about Group A. Group A stands for assembly. Now, 9072.1 is where you're going to find the requirements for a Group A occupancy. What we are looking at is when we need a fire alarm system, it's going to be pull stations throughout. When does a Group A need a fire alarm system? If there is an occupant load of 300 or more, or we have an occupant load more than 100 people above or below the lowest level of exit discharge. Also with that, we're going to have occupant notification. Depending on how many occupants there are in the building, we may be going with horns and strobes, we may be going with a voice evac. Voice evac is going to be necessary when we have an occupant load of 1,000 or more. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to need pull stations throughout, and they're going to be installed according to what NFPA 72 has to say. Pull stations do have to be within 5 feet of exit doors, no more than 200 feet of travel distance along the path of egress or leaving the building from one pull station to the next, and they're going to be mounted at between 42 to 48 inches above the finished floor to the actuator. Occupant notification, when this term pops up, it typically just means we're using audibles and visibles, horns and strobes. However, if our group A does have an occupant load of 1,000 or more, we're going to be doing voice evac, which is going to also be speakers and strobes. Strobes are going to be necessary in all common use and public use areas, and all of our audibles have to achieve a minimum 15 dB above average ambient for public mode. There are some exceptions with the pull stations. Now, if you have a fully sprinklered building, you do not require pull stations throughout, but you will still have the necessity for a minimum of one pull station located per where the HJ wants. If you have any interest in our national training conference, we'll be holding it in October this year. Please log on to our website, nationaltrainingcenter.com/conference.